A heavy brass hanging on a woven string. We dropped it down looking for a steady line. It held the weight, showing us an even ground. The rigid shape waiting for a quiet sound. But passing days softened up the golden face. A steady hand touching in a quiet space. The metal yields, taking on a human heat. A woven piece showing where the lovers go. The metal ass running a familiar grace. A steady drop taking up a quiet space. One Plumb Bob resting on a steady chord. I watch it hang, knowing that the sway is gone. The warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the line I hold. A warm embrace shielding from the winter cold. One Plumb Bob resting on a steady chord. I watch it hang, knowing that the sway is gone. The warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the line I hold. A warm embrace shielding from the winter cold. We used to watch, finding where the balance lay. A stubborn swing growing in the breaking day. But steady touch polished up the brassy shell. The quiet shift breaking up the isolation spell. The center finds traveling the private lane. I close my eyes, feeling how the edges bend. The trusted guard staying with me to the end. Hold the solid brass, let the rhythm play high from all the rush. Keep the cold away, the outer stone softens into something mild. A peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize the centering is an earned art. A slow design, working on a guarded heart. Love requires dropping in a level space. To find the warmth hiding in a quiet place. We let the shape alter to a gentle fit. And found the peace hidden in the core of it. I need the touch flowing through the softened ring. A custom frequency making the silence sing. Plumb Bob, keeping it on a steady chord. Keeping it, I watch it hang, knowing that the sway is gone. The warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the line I hold. A warm embrace shielding from the winter cold. The line is straight, the brass is warm. We are safe.
A leather strap locking on a silver dial. A rigid band waiting for a measured wow. We buckled it wrapping around a narrow bone. A stiff defense sitting in the dark alone. It pinched the skin, hiding an uneven side. A stubborn shape offering nowhere to hide. But passing hours softened up the heavy hide. A steady pulse open in the dark inside. The fingers pressed rubbing on the broken line. A quiet vow changing up a rough design. The surface sinks, taking on a human shape. A custom fit offering a safe escape. I touch the band feeling how the leather warms. A quiet shield weathering the waking storms. The friction stops leaving a familiar mold. A trusted guy keeping out the winter cold. The leather adapts, taking on a human heat. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. We left the harsh scraping in the early past. A fragrant bond, built to make the comfort last. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. We left the heart scraping in the early past. A fragrant bond, built to make the comfort last. We used to fight, finding where the pieces lock. A stubborn gem hidden on a solid rock. But steady hands polished up the the rigid skin, a quiet vow washing out the early pain. The vessel shines holding to a sweet perfume. I turn to slow, feeling how the pieces mesh, a woven bond, resting on the living flesh. Feel the leather slide, now the quiet tray. Step into the warmth, rest the weary fate. The harsh resistance melted into something mild, a peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realized that friction was a passing phase, a simple test hiding in the early days. Love requires softening the rugged grain to find a peace hiding in the falling rain. We let the years wear away the rigid shell and found a place where the quiet angels dwell. I hold the grip knowing it will never stick, a tailored bond matching up without a trick. Watchband sitting on a steady wrist, let it slide. Quiet shield lifting off a heaviness, press it down. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. We left the heart scraping in the early past, a fragrant bond built to make the comfort last. The strap is soft, the time is ours. We are safe.
Yeah. A silver fork waiting on a wooden desk, a quiet tone put into a heavy test. We struck the side hoping for a ringing song. It held a hum shaking in an unseen wave, a fragile piece rescuing a silent cave. The reckless force hit upon a solid stone, a sudden bend killing off the waking tone. The metal warp splitting in a jagged line, a broken prong ruining a clear design. The ringer stops leaving an unfinished word. I try to strike holding an uneven bass, a futile act begging for giving grace. The silver gems freezing in a heavy hold, a dusty mess matching with the winter cold. The tuning lines drop into a frozen state, a silent end closing up an iron gate. Been tuning fork, failing on the wooden frame. I watch the steel freezing in the bitter wind, the physical reflection of the lies we sin. You cannot draw music from a broken chord. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. Been tuning fork, failing on the wooden frame. I watch the steel freezing in the bitter wind, the physical reflection of the lies we sin. You cannot draw music from a broken chord. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. We acted like ringing was a simple task, a lasting no hiding in a wooden mast. But massive strain separates a brittle grain. The gear is split, letting all the magic flee. A useless stick floating on a silent sea. I tried to strike, asking for an echoing tone. A miserable failure sitting in the dark alone. Touch the jagged tear, hear the hollow sound. Fail to find the warmth, fail to find the ground. The fracture is a poison to an empty room, a tragic end, a quiet doom. I realize that forcing on a broken wood is asking for a magic that we never could. Love requires holding to a balanced wheel to magnify the volume of the things we feel. We struck the brass, freezing in a bitter draft, and ruined all the motion in a careless craft. I drop my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Been tuning fork, failing on the wooden frame. Let it bend, failing on on the wooden frame. Walk away, feeling on the wooden frame. Whoa. I watch the steel freezing in the bitter wind, a physical reflection of the lies we sin. You cannot draw music from a broken chord. I leave the fork frozen on the wooden floor. The broom is bent, the sound is cold. I am done.
A plastic jar, a plastic jar sitting on a writing desk, a white paint hiding an unwanted task. We use the brush sliding out a shared page, a quiet hide echoing across the stage. But careless days dried away the masking well, a silent chalk ruining a hiding spell. The liquid snags catching on a rigid book, the rigid brush strikes falling on a jagged spot. A ruined text tangled in a bitter knot. I press the paint hoping for a moving line, a failed attempt wrecking an unsure design. The surface jams freezing in a solid block, a broken string ticking on a silent clock. The liquid dries tying up a heavy knot, a dark stain bleeding on a single spot. Dry correction fluid catching on the metal gear. I strike the page looking at a heavy stain. You cannot hide errors when the pain is tight. I stare at the disaster where the words have died. Looking at a heavy stain. You cannot hide errors when the pain is tight. I stare at the disaster where the words have died. We acted like hiding was a given right, a steady stream pushing through the lonely night. But solid chalk paralyzes an empty page, a tragic act halting on a hollow stage. The pain has stopped drowning in an ocean spill, a ruined word hiding what we truly feel. I try to pull hoping for a working space, a bitter end hiding in a quiet place. Touch the black and I hear the plastic hit, fail to move the line, watch the logic quit. The tangle is a poison to a moving text, a silent ghost cursing what is coming next. I realize that pushing on a solid thread is wasting all the logic of the words we said. Love requires movement that is smooth and light to navigate the turning of a heavy night. We jammed the brush breaking an essential tie and ruined all the function of a shared sky. I lift my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Dry correction fluid catching on the metal gear. Let it crack, let it crack. I strike the page looking at a heavy stain. You cannot hide errors when the pain is tight. I leave the dark silence where the words have died. The words dry. The word is saying I am done.
A wooden sphere resting on a metal rod. We pushed it up, shifting on a winding road. A rigid grip taking on a heavy load. It caught the skin showing in uneven grain, but passing miles softened up the wooden face. A steady hand touching in a quiet space. The timber yields taking on a human heat. The friction dies, leaving just a quiet glide. A warm embrace holding on the dark inside. I shift the gear, feeling how that timber warms. A safe anchor, weathering the quiet storms. The catch and stops turning to a gentle flow. A woven piece showing where the drivers go. The timber wears finding a familiar grace. A steady shift taking up a quiet space. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the paths I hold. A warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the past I hold. A warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. Used to ache, pushing on a rigid line. A stubborn form acting as a cold design. But a steady touch polished up the heavy shell. A quiet shift breaking up the isolation spell. The motion flows, traveling a private lane. A steady pose washing out the early pain. I close my eyes, feeling how the edges bend. A trusted guard staying with me to the end. Hold this solid wood, let the rhythm play. Hide from all the rush, keep the cold away. Outer stone softens into something mild. A peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize that shifting isn't earned art. A slow design working on a guarded heart. Love requires polishing a rugged face to find the warmth hiding in a quiet place. We let the shape alter to a gentle fit and found the peace hidden in the core of it. I need the touch flowing through the softened ring. A custom frequency making the silence sing. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. Black the noise, warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the paths I hold. A warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. The wood is smooth, the path is clear. I am here. A leather ring sitting on a plastic frame. A rigid band playing in a waiting game. We put it on listening to a given song. A stiff defense proving all the comfort wrong. You pinch the skin hiding in uneven side. A stubborn shape offering nowhere to hide. But passing hours softened up the rigid skin. A quiet shift letting all the music in. The fabric yields taking on a human heat. The friction dies leaving just a quiet hold. A warm embrace keeping out the winter cold. I wear the pad, feeling how the leather warms. A quiet shield weathering the waking storms. The pressure stops finding an unexpected groove. A trusted guard watching all the shadows move. The leather adapts, taking on a human heat. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. We left the heart scraping in the early past. The fragrant bond built to make the comfort last. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. We left the heart scraping in the early past. The fragrant bond built to make the comfort last. We used to fight, finding where the pieces lock. A stubborn jam hitting on a solid rock. A steady hands polished up the rigid skin. A quiet vow washing out the early pain. The vessel shines holding to a sweet perfume. I turn it slow, feeling how the pieces mesh. A woven bond resting on the living flesh. Feel the leather slides, smell the quiet trace. Step into the warm, rest the weary face. The harsh resistance melted into something mild. A peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize that
perfection was a passing phase, a simple test hiding in the early days. Love requires softening the rugged grain to find the peace hiding in the falling rain. We let the years wear away the rigid shell and found a place where the quiet angels dwell. To hold the grip knowing it will never stick, a tailored bond matching up without a trick. I pull you close knowing that the edge is gone. I pull you close knowing that the edge is gone. We left the harsh scraping in the early past, the fragrant bond built to make the comfort last.
A metal rail hiding in the plastic shell. I'm moving head, acting in the working spell. We typed the page, hoping for a printed line. It drew the text, laying down a black array. A forward path running on a quiet day. But dry ink gathered on a sliding track. A tragic stop, launching a severe attack. The metal jams wedging in the dusty bind. A solid block ruining an open mind. A printed house grinding to a sudden freeze. A dying wind blowing through the winter trees. I tried to print, asking for a moving line. A failed attempt, reckoning an unsure design. The carriage chokes freezing in a solid block. A broken door ticking on a silent clock. The metal jams tying up a heavy knot. A cold rejection bleeding on a single spot. Jam printer track, catching on a broken gear. A tragic stop, raising up a silent fear. I strike the frame, looking at a heavy block. A physical reflection of a broken lock. You cannot print stories when the head is tied. I stare at the disaster where the hope is died. Track, catching on a broken gear. A tragic stop, raising up a silent fear. I strike the frame, looking at a heavy block. A physical reflection of a broken lock. You cannot print stories when the head is tied. I stare at the disaster where the hope has died. We acted like printing was a given right. A steady stream pushing through the lonely night, but solid crust paralyzed a working gait. A tragic act taught in that a bit of fate. The ink has stopped drowning in a rigid chill. A ruined slide hiding what we truly feel. I try to pull, hoping for a working space. A bitter end hiding in a quiet place. Touch the blackened eye, hear the metal hit. Fail to move the line, watch the logic quit. The tangle is a poison to a moving stream. A silent ghost cursing what is coming next. I realize that pushing on a broken frame is wasting all the logic of a waiting game. Love requires gliding with the smooth release to navigate the turning of a sudden piece. We jammed the track, breaking an essential tie, and ruined all the function of a shared sky. I lift my cold fingers and I'll step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Jam print the track, catching on a broken gear. Let it jam. The tragic stop, raising up a solid fear. Walk away. The frame looking at a heavy block. A physical reflection of a broken lock. You cannot print stories when the head is tied. I leave the dark silence where the hope is died. The rail is caught. The page is blank. I am done.
Yeah. A curved lens resting in a brassy ring. A quiet eye looking at a hidden thing. We held it down, focusing on a blurry page. Steady glass acting on a reading stage. You found a line, drawing in a sharp detail. But heavy falls, shattered up the given view. A broken line, ruining a picture true. The center splits breaking in a jagged crack. A broken tool falling on a sliding track. The focus fails, leaving an unfinished word. A silent drop acting like a missing bird. I try to read, holding an uneven glass. A futile act, watching all the shadows pass. The vision splits, dividing in a heavy hold. A dusty mess matching with the winter coat. The glass divides, dropping to a broken state. A silent end, closing up an iron gate. Cracked magnifying glass, failing on the wooden frame. I watch the words breaking in a sudden split. You cannot read meaning with a broken core. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. Failing on the wooden frame. I watch the words breaking in a sudden split. You cannot read meaning with a broken core. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. We acted like focus was an endless gift, a lasting force hiding in a quiet shift. But sudden shocks compromise an entire base. A sudden fall sitting in a quiet place. The lines divide, slipping from a tension hold. A broken tool shivering in winter cold. I try to stare, hoping for a steady ring. A bitter end written on a lifeless string. Touch the broken glass, hear the silver slide. Fail to find the words, fail to find a guide. Touch the broken glass, hear the silver slide. Fail to find the words, fail to find a guide. The tension left, leaving empty space. I realize that resting on a fragile thread is wasting all the logic of the words we said. Love requires holding to a balanced tide to elevate the nature of a shared sky. We snapped the lens, pushing past the limit sign, and ruined all the function of a shared design. I drop my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Cracked magnifying glass, let it fall, let it fall. Walk away. Sudden split, a physical. You cannot read meaning with a broken core. I leave the split vision on the wooden floor. The lens is dead, the side is split. I am done.
We placed a thumb, hoping for a steady hold. We placed a thumb, hoping for a steady cold. It pulled away, pressing a persistent mark. But passing songs polished up the rigid brass. A gentle touch, walking on a summer grass. The metal yields, taking on a human heat. A curve moving to a melody. The friction dies, leaving just a quiet glide. I rest my hand, feeling how the surface warms. A safe anchor weathering the quiet storms. Oh, the pressure stops, turning to a gentle flow. A woven piece showing where the music goes. The metal waves, finding a familiar grace, taking up a quiet space. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the weight. I hold a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. Oh, shielding from the winter cold. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm A stubborn line waiting for a heavy fall. The steady touch polished up the silver shell. The quiet shift breaking up the isolation spell. The music flows traveling a private lane. I close my eyes feeling how the edges bend. A trusted guard staying with me to the end. Grab the solid hook, let the rhythm play. Hide from all the rush, keep the cold away. The outer stone softens into something mild. A peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize that comfort isn't earned. A slow design working on a guarded heart. Love requires polishing a rugged face to find the one hiding in a quiet place. We let the shape alter to a gentle fit and found the peace hidden in the core of it. I need the touch flowing through the softened ring, a custom frequency making the silence sing. You close, knowing that the edge is gone. Warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the weight. I hold a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. The fear is gone. I am here.
A wooden blade resting in an iron pan. A rigid tool brought from an open land. We pushed it down, scraping on a cooking base. A stiff defense taking up a kitchen space. It caught the iron, leaving an unending sound. A harsh friction resting on the solid ground. But passing meal softened up the wooden grain. A steady slide washing out the early pain. The flat-edge shapes matching to the iron curve. A quiet vow calming down an anxious nerve. The surface shines, wearing down the dusty shell. A perfect fit, waiting in a quiet spell. I move the blade, feeling how the timber warms. A quiet shield weathering the waking storms. The scraping stops, leaving a reflective glow. A trusted guide showing where the waters flow. The wood adapts, taking on a human heat. A steady grind, moving to a melody. Smooth wood and spatula, sitting in a steady hold. A quiet shield, keeping out the winter cold. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. We left the harsh scraping in the early past. A fragrant bond built to make the comfort last. Smooth wood and spatula, sitting in a steady hold. A quiet shield, keeping out the winter cold. I pull you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. We left the harsh scraping in the early past. A fragrant bond built to make the comfort last. We used to fight, finding where the pieces lock. A stubborn gem hidden on a solid rock. The steady hands polished up the rigid skin. A quiet vow washing out the early pain. The vessel shines, holding to a sweet perfume. A steady rhythm sitting in a quiet room. I turn it slow, feeling how the pieces mesh. A woven bond resting on the living flesh. Feel the timber slide, smell the quiet trace. Step into the warm, rest the weary face. The harsh resistance melted into something mild. A peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realized that friction was a passing phase, a simple test hiding in the early days. Love requires softening the rugged grain to find a peace hiding in the falling rain. We let the years wear away the rigid shell, and found a place where the quiet angels dwell. I hold the grip knowing it will never stick. A tailored bond matching up without a trick. Smooth wood and spatula, sitting in a steady hold. Let it slide, keeping out the winter cold. Press it down, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. We left the heart scraping in the early past. A fragrant bond built to make the comfort last. The grip is smooth, the timber warms. We are safe.
A phone wheel sitting in a plastic tray. A phone wheel sitting in a plastic tray. We left it out hiding in an open air. A wet tool resting on a quiet chair. It held the pain, carrying a colored hue. A gentle touch making all the visions true. But passing wind dried away the vibrant paint. A tragic drought making all the colors faint. The phone goes stiff, hardening in winter chill. A ruined tool losing all the moving skill. The cylinder freezes in the solid stone. A quiet death suffered in the dark alone. I tried to roll, asking for a moving line. I felt a temp reckoning and sure design. The surface cracks, breaking in a heavy hold. A dusty mess, matching with the winter cold. The foam turns solid and the moisture flees. A barren wind blowing through the dying trees. Dry paint roller catching on a hollow wall. A rigid black leading to a silent fall. I try to paint colors but the surface tears. A physical reflection of the wasted years. You cannot draw beauty from a barren stone. I watch the dust falling from the brittle bone. Dry paint roller catching on a hollow wall. A rigid black leading to a silent fall. I try to paint colors but the surface tears. A physical reflection of the wasted years. You cannot draw beauty from a barren stone. I watch the dust falling from the brittle bone. We acted like painting was an endless stream. A foolish thought built upon a waking dream. But dry neglect hardens every open pore. A stiff defense locking up a heavy door. The tool is trapped dying in a barren frame. A ghost of wetness waiting for the absent rain. I try to spread color but the fibers fail. A bitter end written in a tragic tale. Touch the rigid crust, hear the surface snap. Watch the pieces fall, cozy, empty trap. The dryness is a poison to a gentle heart. A bitter dissolution of a moving part. I realize I'm starving in the central core. It's killing all the life behind the closed door. Love requires water that is pure and deep, to keep the breath steady in a quiet sleep. We left the phone empty in the careless phase, and ruined all the softness of the early days. I drop my dry fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken track. Watching on the hollow wall, let it crack, walk away. I try to paint colors but the surface tears, a physical reflection of the wasted years. You cannot draw beauty from a barren stone. I leave the dust falling from the brittle bone. The phone is dry, the paint is broke. I am done.
Sitting in a paper sleeve, we placed it down, sitting up a steady spin. Aboard the groove, carrying the night was long. A sudden falls, fractured up the plastic plane. A tragic move, bringing in a silent pain. The surface splits, breaking in a jagged line. A ruined disc, crushing a secure design. The needle skips, failing on a broken track. I try to play, holding an uneven piece. A futile act, begging for a quick release. The rotation fails, lacking an essential guide. A hollow space opening a vast divide. The plastic snaps, leaving unsteady plane. A silent room, waiting for the sound in vain. Crack, try to play music, but the needle slides. You cannot find rhythm when the music breaks. I stare at the disaster of the past mistakes. Crack, try to play music, but the needle slides. You cannot find rhythm when the music breaks. I stare at the disaster of the past mistakes. Like music was a constant given, a lasting force keeping all the errors hidden. But master strain paralyzes every gear, sudden break cancelling a passing year. The deck is trapped sitting in a silent frame. I use the square playing in the losing game. I try to force needles to a spinning groove, a miserable failure of a desperate move. Touch the broken line, hear the needle skip, fail to find the core, watch the logic quit. The fracture is a poison to a spinning heart, a tragic cancellation of a beating heart. I realize I'm leaning on a fragile plane, it's ruining the center of a steady brain. Love requires balance that is smooth and light, to navigate the turning of a heavy night. We pushed at this breaking a vital tie, ruined all the function of a shared sky. I lift my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Crack, try to play music when the needle slides. Try to play music but the needle slides. A physical reflection of the vast divides. You cannot find rhythm when the music breaks. I leave the cold plastic and the past
A wooden block sitting on a cobbler bench, a quiet form surviving in a narrow trench. We pulled the high, pushing on a rigid toe, a harsh defense, learning how to let this go. It held a shape, fighting a persistent strain. But passing years softened up the wooden face. But passing years softened up the wooden face. A steady hand putting it inside a space. The timber yields taking on a human heat. The friction dies, leaving just a quiet glide. I touch the wood, feeling how the handle warms. A safe anchor weathering the quiet storms. The stretching stops, finding a protected square. A trusted friend waiting in the open air. The timber adapts to finding a familiar grace. Smooth wooden shoe last, resting on a heavy stand. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fitting to the paths I hold. A warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. Smooth wooden shoe last, resting on a heavy stand. Gone. A warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the paths I hold. A warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. We used to fight fine and where the logic ends. A stubborn block testing out the closest friends. But steady hands polished up the rigid skin. A quiet shift, letting all the comfort in the market shines, holding to a sweet perfume. I take the turn, feeling how the pieces mesh. A woven bond, resting on the living flesh. Feel the timber slide, smell the quiet trace. Step into the warm, rest the weary face. The harsh resistance melted into something mild. A peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realized that friction was a passing phase, a simple test hiding in the early days. Love requires softening the rigid hide to find a warmth resting on the dark inside. We let the years wear away the outer shell and found a place where the quiet angels dwell. I hold the block knowing it will never stick. A tailored bond matching up without a trick. Smooth wooden shoe latch, keep it near on a heavy stand. Block the north, I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. Ooh, warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the paths I hold. A warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. Wood is smooth, the fit is warm, we are safe. A solid bone resting on a paper stack, a quiet tool fighting all the shadows back. We press the fold, looking for a steady line, a stiff defense, making up a clean design. I press the sheet, leaving an uneven mark, a stubborn form, hiding in the morning dark. But passing days polished up the rigid edge, a steady hand resting on a quiet ledge. The surface heals taking on a gentle gleam, a smooth response waking from a silent dream. The sharp attacks melted into something round, a silent calm resting on the solid ground. I push it down, feeling how the tension fades, a safe anchor hiding in the twilight shades. The pressing shines, turn into a gentle glide, a woven piece, living on the dark inside. The tool adapts, finding a familiar grace. Steady press, taking up a quiet space. Polished bone folder, resting in a given palm. A tailored fit, bringing in a steady calm. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface, waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the folds I hold. A warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. Polished bone folder,
ache pushing on a rigid wall. A stubborn line waiting for a heavy fall. A steady touch polished up the solid shell. A quiet shift breaking up the isolation spell. The motion flows traveling a private line. A steady pulse mirroring a grand design. I close my eyes feeling how the edges bend. The trusted guard staying with me to the end. Rub the solid tool, let the rhythm play. Hide from all the rush, keep the cold away. The outer edge softens into something mild, a peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize that comfort isn't earned art, a slow design working on a guarded heart. Love requires polishing a rugged face to find the warmth hiding in a dark and cold. We let the shape alter to a gentle fit and found the peace hidden in the core of it. I need the touch flowing through the softened ring, a custom frequency making the silence sing. Polished bone folder resting in a given palm, keeping me tailored fit, bring invested in lock beneath calm. Lock the door, hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone. A warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fit into the fold. A warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold.
A silver pin hanging on a metal arm, a quiet hook acting as a working charm. We fed the thread looking for a binding seam. It pierced the cloth, offering a shallow ditch, but sudden force pushed upon a rigid plate. The tragic move closing up a given gate. The metal bends arching from a heavy blow, a ruined tip halting in expected flow. The thread is snapped, leaving an unhappy sign. I try to sew resting on a broken crest. A failed attempt falling in a bitter test. The motion dies, slipping from a heavy hold. A dusty mess, matching with the winter cold. The metal snaps drop into a silent state. A broken string closing up an iron gate. Then sewing machine needle failing on the working board. I watch the steel piercing in a sudden snap. You cannot weave fabric with a broken core. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. Then some machine needle failing on the working board. I watch the steel piercing in a sudden snap. You cannot weave fabric with a broken core. I stare at the disaster on the wooden floor. We acted like sewing was an endless stream, a foolish thought built upon a waking dream. But sudden fall shatter every open pore, a stiff defense locking up a heavy door. The tool is trapped dying in the barren frame, a ghost of music waiting for an absent flame. I try to bind hoping for a ringing tale, a bitter end written on an empty scale. Touch the broken steel, hear the surface snap. Watch the pieces fall, close the empty trap. The tension is a poison to a gentle heart, a bitter dissolution of a moving part. I realize the starving in essential core is killing all the life behind the closed door. Love requires balance that is pure and deep, to keep the breath steady in a quiet sleep. We let the art shatter in the careless phase and ruined all the softness of the early days. I drop my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Then sewing machine needle, let it crack, failing on the working board. I watch the steel piercing, walk away in a sudden snap. You cannot weave fabric with a broken core. I leave the slack hanging on the wooden floor. The pin is bent, the thread is done.
Yellow tape resting in the metal case, a measuring tool acting in a quiet space. We pulled it out looking for a given length, a steady line showing an assumed strength. It crossed the floor offering a numbered guide, a safe anchor resting on a quiet side. But a hidden damp ruined all the inner coil, a tragic rust forming in the quiet soil. The metal binds catching on the winding track, a solid block launching a severe attack. The ribbon stays frozen in an open room, a dying string waiting for an empty tomb. I try to push, asking for a backward pace, a failed attempt sitting in a quiet place. The motion stops, dropping to a rigid chill, a broken line hiding what we truly feel. The inner coil binds, tying up a heavy knot, a silent star freezing on a single spot. Rusted tape measure spring catching on a plastic wall, tragic and leading to a sudden fall. I strike the case, looking at a heavy stain, a physical reflection of a lasting pain. You cannot close distance when the coil is tight. I stare at the disaster where the time is died. Rusted tape measure spring catching on a plastic wall, tragic and leading to a sudden fall. I strike the case, looking at a heavy stain, a physical reflection of a lasting pain. You cannot close distance when the coil is tight. I stare at the disaster where the time is died. We acted like moving was a constant given, a lasting force keeping all the errors hidden. But massive rust paralyzes every gear, a sudden break cancelling a passing year. The weight is trapped sitting in a silent frame, a useless disc playing in a losing game. I try to force rhythms to a spinning groove, a miserable failure of a desperate move. Touch the broken rust, hear the metal squeak, fail to find the beat, fail to find a guide. The friction is a poison to a spinning art, a tragic cancellation of a beating heart. I realize that leaning on a rusted pin is ruining the center that the love is in. Love requires balance that is smooth and light, to navigate the turning of a heavy night. We pushed away, breaking a vital tie, and ruined all the function of a shattered sky. I lift my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken plate. Rusted tape measure spring catching on a plastic ball, let it by, tragic and leading to a sudden fall. Walk away. I strike the case, looking at a heavy stain, a physical reflection of a lasting pain. You cannot close distance when the coil is tight. I leave the cold metal and the time to die. Coil is jammed, the line is dead, I am done.
Resting on a copper pot, we picked it up waiting for the water heat. A stiff defense standing on an iron seat, it caught the skin leaving an uneven mark. A stubborn form waiting in the morning dark. But passing days softened up the heavy wood, a steady hold, doing what the mornings could. The surface bends, taking on a gentle curve, a safe embrace, calming down an anxious nerve. The stiffness fades, melting in a human heat. I lift the pot, feeling how the timber yields, a quiet guard resting in the open fields. The friction stops, leaving a familiar trace, a woven piece, finding an expected grace. The timber folds, taking on a subtle bend, smooth kettle handle, resting in a given hand. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fitting to the T I hold, a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. Smooth kettle handle, resting in a given hand. I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fitting to the T I hold, a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. We used to fight, finding where the fingers lock, a stubborn block, testing out a quiet rock. But steady hands polished up the rigid skin, a quiet shift, letting all the comfort in the handle shines, holding to a sweet perfume. I pour the tea, feeling how the pieces mesh, a woven bond resting on the living flesh. Feel the timber slide, smell the quiet trace, step into the warm, rest the weary face. The harsh resistance melted into something mild, a peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realized that friction was a passing phase, a simple test hiding in the early days. Love requires softening the rigid wood to find the warmth resting where the timber stood. We let the years wear away the outer shell and found a place where the quiet angels dwell. I hold the grip knowing it will never stick, a tailor bond matching up without a trick. Smooth kettle handle, keep it near, a tailored fit building up a steady land. Press it down, I hold you close, knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fitting to the T I hold, a warm embrace, shielding from the winter cold. The grip is set, the hand is warm, we are safe.
A wooden sphere waiting on a heavy desk. We pulled it out, looking for a hidden note. It gripped the hand, pulling with a stubborn bite, a rough timber hiding in the fading light. But opening hours rubbed away the heavy ridge, a steady pull acting as a quiet bridge. The surface yields, taking on a gentle gleam, the sharp attacks melted into something round. I turn the knob, feeling how the tension fades, a safe anchor hiding in the twilight shades. The opening turns to a gentle glide, the timber adapts, finding a familiar grace. I pull you out, knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself, fitting We used to ache, pushing on a rigid wall. A stubborn mind waiting for a heavy fall. But steady touch polished up the wooden shell. A quiet shift breaking up the isolation spell. The secrets flow, traveling a private line. I close my eyes, feeling how the edges bend. A trusted guard staying with me to the end. Turn the solid wood, let the rhythm play. Hide from all the rush, keep the cold away. The outer timber softens into something mild. A peaceful state, letting us be reconciled. I realize that comfort is an earned art, a slow design working on a guarded heart. Love requires polishing a rugged face to find the warmth hiding in a quiet place. We let the shape alter to a gentle fit and found the peace hidden in the core of it. I need the touch flowing through the softened ring, a custom frequency making the silence sing. I pull you out knowing that the edge is gone, a warm surface waiting for a quiet dawn. You shaped yourself fitting to the words I hold, a warm embrace better than the tales are told. The wood is smooth, the desk is warm, I am here.
Checkered board, sitting on a parlor stand. A quiet game gathered from an open land. We set the piece, giving it a steady space. It held the bass, offering a quiet room. A flat response, saving us from rising doom. But careless spills settled on the sleeping wood. A tragic warp altering the neighborhood. The squares expand, pushing on a rigid cold. The surface snaps, leaving an uneven shell. A broken line falling from a silent bell. I watch the piece slipping on the heavy frame. A failed attempt playing in a losing game. The figures drop, making a discordant thud. A ruined board sinking in the heavy mud. The timber divides, opening a sudden hole. A failing game, losing all the self-control. Warped chessboard, sitting on the table side. A broken game, failing as a steady guide. I watch the piece slipping from a tight embrace. A physical reflection of a failing grace. You cannot play tactics when the bass is gone. I stare at the disaster of an empty dawn. Warped chessboard, sitting on the table side. A broken game, failing as a steady guide. I watch the piece slipping from a tight embrace. A physical reflection of a failing are cold but silent damp compromises an entire base. A sudden fall, sitting in a quiet place. The lines divide, slipping from a twisted lock. A broken tool offering a blank attack. I try to move, hoping for a golden ring. A bitter end written on a lifeless string. Touch the broken wood, hear the piece slide. Fail to find the grip, fail to find a guide. I realize that resting on a fragile shell is wasting all the logic of the words we tell. Love requires holding to a level tide to elevate the nature of a shared sky. We let the spill push past the limit line and ruined all the function of a shared design. I drop my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Warped chessboard sitting on the table side. Let it warp, a broken game failing as a steady guide. I watch the piece slipping from a tight embrace, a physical reflection of a failing grace. You cannot play tactics when the base is gone. I leave the slack hanging on an empty dawn. The board is bent, the game is dead, I am done.
A cotton thread holding up a paper spine, a quiet knot making all the pages align. We wrote the text shutting out the heavy sky, a safe defense watching all the years go by. It bore the weight, offering a steady shield, a bound cover resting on a quiet field. But passing days pulled upon the woven grain, a brutal tug following a bitter strain. The fiber phrase curling from a steady heat, the binding snaps pulling from the center line. A broken core writing an unhappy tale. I watch the page opening a darkened space, a failing guard sitting in a quiet place. The paper falls, dropping to the inside floor, a broken seal waiting by an open door. The cotton gives failing as a steady cover, a silent break falling on a sleeping lover. Frayed book binding curling on a broken line. I feel the page dropping from an open space, a physical reflection of a failing grace. You cannot read stories under a bending wood. I leave the room failing as I knew I should. Frayed book binding curling on a broken line. I feel the page dropping from an open space, a physical reflection of a failing grace. You cannot read stories under a bending wood. I leave the room failing as I knew I should. We acted like binding was a given right, a lasting force keeping out the winter night. But heavy tugs separate a bonded grain, a sudden snap bringing in a silent rain. The thread is snapped, letting all the stories fall, a useless block floating on a broken wall. I try to tie, asking for a holding seal, a miserable failure of the things I feel. Touch the curling string, hear the paper fall, fail to find the warmth, fail to find the wall. The weather is a poison to a failing room, a tragic end leading to a quiet doom. I I realize that resting on a bending string is asking for a shelter from a closing ring. Love requires holding to an airtight seal to magnify the comfort of the things we feel. We left the knot roasting in a bitter draft and ruined all the story in a careless craft. I drop my cold fingers and I step away, accepting the disaster of a broken play. Frayed book binding curling on a broken line. Let it snap, I feel the page dropping from an open space. A physical reflection of a failing grace. You cannot read stories under a bending wood. I leave the room failing as I knew I should. The thread is snapped, the page is lost, I am done.